largest land empire the world has ever known? How did scattered tribes of nomadic warriors rise to dominate territories stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the gates of Europe? And how did one leader reshape trade, warfare, and global connections in ways that still influence the world today? Stay with me until the end of this documentary, because the final part of this story reveals how the Mongol Empire transformed the course of world history, and why historians still study the strategies of its armies centuries later. But before we begin this journey through the rise of one of the most powerful empires in history, take a moment to support the channel. If you enjoy discovering powerful stories from ancient history, make sure you subscribe to Beyond the Timeline, like this video, share it with someone who loves history, and comment below with the ancient civilization or empire you want explored next. And when this documentary ends, don't stop there. Go to the playlist on this channel and watch the full documentary about the rise of the Roman Empire. That video reveals how Rome transformed from a small settlement into one of the most influential civilizations in history. Together, these stories show how different empires rose to power in completely different ways. Now let's travel back more than 800 years to a vast and unforgiving landscape. This region, known as the Mongolian Steppe, stretches across Central Asia. It is a land of open grasslands, powerful winds, and extreme seasons. Winters can be brutally cold. Summers can be harsh and dry. For the people who lived here, survival depended on mobility, resilience, and strength. Most families lived as nomads. They moved across the grasslands with their herds of horses, sheep, and goats. They lived in portable tents known as yurts, which could be assembled and disassembled quickly. Life on the steppe required skill and adaptability. From a young age, children learned to ride horses. They learned how to hunt, how to survive harsh winters, and how to defend their families. But the steppe was not only a place of survival. It was also a place of constant rivalry. Different tribes competed for resources, territory, and power. Alliances formed and dissolved quickly. Raids and conflicts between tribes were common. It was into this challenging environment that a boy named Temujin was born around the year 1162. His early life was far from easy. His father, who was a tribal leader, was poisoned by rival enemies when Temujin was still a young boy. Without their father's protection, Temujin's family was abandoned by their clan. They were left to survive alone on the harsh steppe. For years, Temujin, his mother, and his siblings struggled to find food and safety. They hunted small animals, gathered wild plants, and endured difficult conditions. These experiences shaped Jin's character. He learned resilience, he learned leadership, and he developed a deep understanding of loyalty and betrayal. As Temujin grew older, he began gathering allies. At first, his followers were few, but his leadership style was different from traditional tribal leaders. Instead of promoting people based on family ties or noble birth, Temujin rewarded loyalty, bravery, and skill. This approach attracted warriors from many different tribes. Slowly, his influence began to grow. Through battles, alliances, and strategic decisions, Temujin united more and more tribes across the Mongolian steppe. By the year 1206, after years of struggle and warfare, Temujin achieved something no leader before him had accomplished. He united the Mongol tribes. During a great assembly of tribal leaders, Temujin was given a new title. He was proclaimed Genghis Khan. The title meant something close to universal ruler. It marked the beginning of a new era. Under Genghis Khan's leadership, the Mongols transformed from divided tribes into a powerful and organized force. One of the keys to their success was their military structure. The Mongol army was incredibly disciplined and efficient. Instead of organizing warriors by tribe, Genghis Khan organized them into units based on numbers. Groups of 10 soldiers formed a squad. 10 squads formed a larger unit. This system ensured that loyalty was directed toward the army and the leader, not toward individual tribes. Every soldier had clear responsibilities. Communication between units was fast and effective. Another major advantage of the Mongols was their mastery of horseback warfare. Mongol warriors were among the greatest horse riders in history. From childhood, they learned to ride with incredible skill. They could control their horses while firing arrows with deadly accuracy. A Mongol warrior could release arrows while galloping at full speed. Their bows were powerful and compact, perfect for mounted combat. Each soldier often traveled with multiple horses. This allowed them to switch mounts during long journeys. As a result, Mongol armies could travel extraordinary distances in very short periods of time. Enemies were often shocked by how quickly Mongol forces appeared. But the Mongols were not just fast riders, they were also brilliant strategists. They used intelligence networks to gather information about enemy cities and armies. They sent scouts ahead of their forces to study terrain and defenses. They even used psychological tactics. Sometimes they would spread rumors about the size and strength of their armies to frighten opponents into surrendering before battles even began. When cities resisted, Mongol armies used siege tactics. They learned engineering techniques from conquered regions. They built siege weapons capable of breaking through city walls. As Mongol victories increased, their empire expanded rapidly. First, they conquered territories across Central Asia. Then they moved toward powerful kingdoms in China, pushed westward toward Persia and the Middle East. Eventually, Mongol armies reached Eastern Europe. At its height, the Mongol Empire stretched across an enormous area, from the Pacific Ocean in the east to the lands of Eastern Europe in the west, from the frozen forests of Siberia in the north to the deserts of the Middle East in the south. It became the largest contiguous land empire in history. Yet the Mongols did not only conquer lands, they also reshaped trade and communication across Eurasia. One of the most important results of Mongol rule was the protection of trade routes. Merchants traveling along the Silk Road found it safer to move goods across long distances. Caravans carrying silk, spices, precious metals, and textiles crossed territories that had once been dangerous and fragmented. Scholars, travelers, and diplomats moved between different regions of the empire. Ideas and technologies spread between cultures. Some historians refer to this period as the Pax Mongolica, meaning Mongol peace. During this time, trade and cultural exchange flourished across vast distances. But even powerful empires eventually faced challenges. After the death of Genghis Khan in 1227, leadership passed to his sons and grandsons. The empire continued expanding for some time. However, governing such a massive territory proved difficult. Different regions developed their own leadership structures. Over time, the empire divided into several separate khanates. These included the Golden Horde in Eastern Europe, the Ilkhanate in Persia, and the Yuan dynasty in China. Although they shared Mongol heritage, these regions gradually developed their own identities. Eventually, the unified Mongol Empire faded, but its influence did not disappear. The Mongols had permanently changed the connections between East and West. Trade routes became more established. Cultural exchanges increased. Technologies, inventions, and ideas moved between civilizations. Even today, historians recognize the Mongol Empire as one of the most transformative forces in global history. The rise of the Mongols shows how leadership, strategy, and unity can reshape the world. It also reminds us that some of history's greatest changes begin in unexpected places. From the open grasslands of Central Asia, a young leader rose to command armies that would cross continents, and the impact of those conquests would echo across centuries. If you enjoyed this journey through the rise of the Mongol Empire, don't stop here. Explore the playlist on Beyond the Timeline to discover more documentaries about powerful civilizations. Be sure to watch the full documentary about the rise of the Roman Empire as well. It reveals how another great civilization built roads, cities, and armies that once ruled much of the ancient world. Subscribe to Beyond the Timeline so you never miss the next exploration into the past. Like the video, share it with someone who enjoys history, and comment below with the empire or mystery you want to see next. Because here on Beyond the Timeline, every story from the past brings us closer to understanding how our world was shaped.